Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgotten why you were there, or stared at your keys, trying to remember what you were just about to do? If that's happened more often lately, don't worry, you're not alone. And it doesn't mean your brain is broken. But it might mean it's time to take a closer look at what's quietly chipping away at your sharpness. You see, after 65, your brain becomes a little more sensitive, not just to aging itself, but to the tiny, invisible habits that slip in day-by-day habits that feel harmless on the surface, but over time can slowly shrink the very parts of your brain responsible for memory, focus, and joy. Now here's the good news. Once you spot these habits, you can reverse their effects, not with expensive programs or scary pills, but with a few small lifestyle shifts that add up to something truly powerful. In this video, we'll talk about 7 of the most common habits that could be draining your brain power without you even realizing it, and what to do instead, so you can keep your mind clear, strong, and active well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. And if you're someone who wants to stay independent, stay sharp, and maybe even surprise a few people with how energetic and focused you still are, then this conversation is for you. Before we begin, I'd love for you to take a second and hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell too. That way, you won't miss any of the important health and lifestyle topics we have coming just for you. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. It means the world to me and to the growing community we're building together. And if anything in this video resonates with you, give it a like, share it with a friend, or tell us in the comments what you're working on or what topic you'd like us to explore next. All right? Let's gently begin with one habit that often feels comforting but can quietly do harm over time. It's the habit of isolation. Now, solitude can be beautiful. A peaceful morning coffee, a walk in the park, time with a good book, those are precious. But when time alone turns into long stretches of not speaking to anyone, when the phone doesn't ring and we stop reaching out, the brain begins to feel that social connection isn't just nice to have, it's actually fuel for your brain. In fact, studies show that meaningful conversations, even brief ones, can trigger parts of the brain responsible for language, memory, and emotional regulation. When those areas aren't used regularly, the brain begins to prune them back. Like a garden that stops being watered. That doesn't mean you need to be surrounded by people every day. But it does mean being intentional about staying connected, maybe by calling a friend while folding laundry, joining a community group, or even commenting below to share your voice with someone who gets it. Next, let's talk about another habit that sneaks up slowly. It's something that might look productive from the outside, but can actually dull the edges of your mind over time. And that's sticking to the exact same routine every single day. Your brain, just like your muscles, thrives on challenge and novelty. When we stop giving it new things to figure out even tiny things, it begins to get lazy, taking the same route to the store, eating the same meals, doing the same puzzles or games, ... That's like feeding your brain plain toast every day instead. What if you took a different road home, or switched hands while brushing your teeth, or learned a new dance step even in the kitchen? It's not about being perfect or radical. It's about giving your brain a reason to wake up and say, this is different. Let's pause there for a breath. And when you're ready, sometimes we'll explore the most surprising way your daily choices might be shaping your brain more than you think. The thoughts we feed ourselves. Let's pick up where we left off, because that brings us to the last, is one that often hides behind a polite brain-shrinking habit. It doesn't seem harmful. Too late to change. In fact, many people consider it a virtue that whispers, but when left unchecked, old to start something new. It slowly teaches your brain to sit back. Or what's the point? Coast. Or my memory's just not what it used to be. And there's nothing I can do avoiding challenges. But here's the truth backed by real science. Don't get me wrong, there's wisdom in pacing yourself. After all, your brain is still growing. Decades solving problems. It doesn't matter if raising families, managing careers, or 95. It, through neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections never stops. But here's what the science says. But it does slow down when we stop seeking out mental effort, or worse, when we shy away from anything that feels too difficult, too unfamiliar. Your brain listens to what, or too uncertain. If you believe you can keep learning, to prune back, stay sharp, the very enjoy life with clarity. will work with you. The brain loves efficiency. The opposite, it sees you aren't using your problem-solving muscles. So what does this mean for you? It starts to rewire. It means that choosing to learn something small today, that means tomorrow, crossword puzzle this week already can make a difference. It may no longer be helping the book, reading a new book 10 times, watching a documentary, yes, but asking a question stretching you never asked before. So what's the shift? Learning how to use a new app or write a story from your childhood. Try learning a few words in a new language that says to your brain, not because you need to become fluent, but because your brain lights up when it encounters patterns just as important. Seen before, being kind to yourself. Documentary on a topic you know nothing everyone about. Forgets. Ask a younger family member to everyone teach you a feature on your phone you've never used. What matters is how you respond to those moments. It's the sound of your brain doing push-ups or with humor and grace. Another habit that slowly wears down decades of life. Your brain, and your brain almost nobody talks about is holding on to moment, unprocessed emotional stress, every triumph. I'm talking about the stories you replay in your mind. It deserves your regrets, the more than the things left unsaid or unfair moments that still carry. So today, you've taken a powerful step. Many of us were raised by noticing the habits that don't serve you anymore and carry on. You recognized one. But here's the hidden cost. The goal isn't to change everything under the surface. It's to notice where inflammation throughout your body, and little by little, including your brain. Let's take one last breath together. The hippocampus. You are not alone. The area responsible for memory. This community, learning, we're here to remind each other that aging isn't a downward slope, harder to find. It's a new stretch of road. Over time, this becomes with choices drain on your sharpness, clarity, your joy, connection, and your sense of presence. If this video spoke to you, but here's the take a moment to like it. You don't have to fix everything to lighten the load. Share these messages. Sometimes all it takes is putting language to what you're feeling, and tap the bell aloud. So you never miss a moment yourself in the mirror. Writing it in a journal, sharing a story with someone who will simply are you letting go without solving. Here's to brighter minds, warmer hearts. When we bottle them up for years, at any age, they settle into our bones and brains, and not in a good way. But when we give them space even for 5 minutes, they begin to shift. Let's take a slow breath here. In through the nose. Hold, and out through the mouth. Now, we're grounded again. There's one more common habit I want to share in this section, and it's the one hiding right inside your kitchen. It's eating in a rush or worse. Eating food that barely nourishes. Your brain, at all you see, your brain isn't just a thinking machine. It's a living organ. And just like your heart or your muscles, it depends on nutrients to stay strong. When we grab ultra-processed meals, skip vegetables, or rely on sugar and salt for energy, our brain pays the price. Over time, poor nutrition shrinks the gray matter, slows reaction time, and raises the risk of memory loss. But changing this doesn't mean becoming a nutritionist or giving up everything you love. It can start with a single brain-boosting swap. Add a handful of walnuts to your breakfast. Choose salmon or eggs over sausages. Sneak in leafy greens under your sandwich filling. And always, always hydrate. The brain is over 70% water, so when we're dehydrated, our focus and recall fog up fast. Even chewing your food slowly, without a screen, tells your nervous system it's safe, and that reduces stress, which helps brain function too. So there you go. Even the simplest meals can become little acts of brain care. Now take another breath with me, and when you're ready, we'll continue exploring more quiet, brain-shrinking habits and how to replace them with something brighter. Let's stay in that calm space just a little longer, because the next habit we're about to talk about doesn't always seem like a problem until one day. It quietly takes the joy out of life. It's the habit of not moving enough now. We all slow down a little as we age. That's natural. But if your days are mostly spent sitting on the couch, at the table, in the car, your brain starts to feel the impact far sooner than your muscles do. Here's why. Movement isn't just good for your heart and joints, it actually fuels your mind. When you move your body, you pump oxygen-rich blood into the brain. That blood carries nutrients, clears away toxins, and sparks the growth of new brain cells. In fact, walking just 20 to 30 minutes a day has been linked to better memory, faster thinking, and lower risk of dementia. But this isn't about joining a gym or running marathons. It's about building gentle movement into the rhythm of your life. Dance while you make tea. Stretch your arms as you wait for the kettle to boil. March in place during commercial breaks. Every time you stand up and move, you remind your brain, we're still growing. Let's shift gears now to something that often creeps in without us noticing, the habit of repeating the same routine every single day. Routines can be comforting. They offer a sense of control and structure, but the brain craves novelty. When each day is a mirror of the last same meals, same walking route, same shows, the brain stops building new pathways. It goes into autopilot. Imagine a record player stuck in a single groove. It keeps spinning, but it's not playing anything new. So what can you do? Change one thing. Take a different route to the grocery store. Try brushing your teeth with the opposite hand. Rearrange a shelf in your kitchen. Even something as small as listening to a new genre of music while making dinner sends fresh signals through your brain. It doesn't have to be big, just unexpected. And here's a habit that often gets overlooked, especially as we get older. Spending too much time alone. Solitude can be beautiful, peaceful, restorative. But isolation, that's different. When we go days without real conversation, without laughter, shared stories, or the feeling of being seen, our brain begins to withdraw to social connection. Isn't just good for the heart. It's a form of mental exercise. In fact, studies have shown that regular social interaction helps protect against cognitive decline, improves memory, and boosts overall mood. It doesn't need to be loud or busy. A quiet phone call, a walk with a friend, or chatting with a neighbor, not the number of people around you. You've been feeling a bit distant from others lately. Consider reaching out. Invite someone over for coffee. Join a local group, even if it's just once a week. Or simply smile at someone next time you're out. That tiny bridge of connection lights up something powerful in the brain. Let's take a breath here together. In and out. You're already doing something wonderful for your mind by listening and reflecting on these things, and we're not quite done. There's one final habit that we need to bring into the light, and it might just be the one that has the deepest effect on how we feel each day.